done our research, we've put together our presentation, we've thought about some of our do's and don'ts. Now we're going to start thinking about, well, what am I going to wear? Right? What am I going to look like? Because all these people are going to be staring at me for 3 or 5 or 10 or God help me 25 minutes, right? So they're going to be looking at every little thing. So we've got to think, first of all, what's your audience going to be dressed like? Are you at a business meeting? Then you need to make sure that you dress at that same level. Are they business casual? Then you're also business casual, or maybe just a notch above, right? But you're not rolling up to your speech in jeans and flip-flops unless you're doing an event at the beach, right? So we want to dress appropriately. But we also want to make sure that appropriate is not too crazy, not too flamboyant. For us ladies, we want to make sure it's not too revealing, too low cut, too slinky, or too loose. Who knows? You know, wardrobe malfunction, you pull down the mic stand with you as you're walking off stage, right? That's what they're going to remember. Nothing that you said before that. So how we dress is going to be really important for getting that message across. If you're going to be wearing a microphone, we have to think about that when you're deciding what to wear. If they're going to be clipping a microphone on you, hopefully you have somewhere for them to clip it. Right? I've gone to a couple of different interviews for television where, you know, I always kind of laugh because inevitably they put some poor guy who has to clip the microphone on, he's all awkward and trying to, right? Yeah, I see some of you have been through the same thing. They don't quite want to touch you, but they just have to get it on you, and it's real awkward. And so as long as you have appropriate clothing and you can just go, oh, okay, we're good, you know, then you'll be fine. Okay, here's a big one, comfortable footwear. Have you ever been to an event and 10, 15 minutes in, like, oh, I'm dying, why did I wear these shoes, right? Maybe they were really cute, but then you're really regretting it. So at the least, and you're lucky, you don't have to worry about that, right? At the very least, maybe have that backup pair of shoes in your car you can go run out and switch into when you feel like you just cannot take another step. And having, and I keep saying I'm so sorry, here I'm going to say, don't say filler words, but having a backup outfit in case, you know, so you're at work all day and I just spilled marinara all down the front and I'm supposed to go up in front of people, what am I going to do? They're all staring at this. So either I have something to change into, or, yeah, I had a wardrobe malfunction. You guys like this? It's the new accessory. So you make a joke out of it. And you move on. It's not the end of the world, but if you had an extra blouse or hair pants or skirt or something that you could, you know, deal with that wardrobe malfunction, that can be pretty helpful. So I talked a little bit and alluded to some of the challenges that we women face in particular. And of course, the clothing issue is one of them. Because as women, one of the issues that we run into is defining our brand, and part of that is, well, we want to look nice, but not necessarily distractingly sexy, and so finding some of that where our appearance meets our brand, and so on and so forth, it can be a challenge. Something to keep in mind as we're speaking, that as you get more and more nervous, your voice gets go really high, right? And that pitch can be really disturbing to people who are listening. But also, there's been a lot of studies that have come out that have said that lower pitches, when you speak from down in your chest and your belly, are received as more authentic. And that if you convey nervousness with a really high nervous voice, then people don't believe you. So that's one thing to remember as you're speaking. Again, stop. Breathe, build that time in for yourself, allow yourself to be calm, and try and speak from down here rather than up here, because that will affect the tone of your voice. And emotions. You know, it was interesting, the post from the council on social media talking about women showing emotion, whether they show it immediately or whether they're reserved. And there was another recent post that went around talking about how anger tends not to play well for female candidates. I found that really interesting. So again, we can read 1,000 different studies and they can tell us 1,000 different things. But one thing we do know that as women we tend to face is that we are painted as emotional creatures. We are. And unfortunately, for a long time, part of the argument of not giving women more power or credibility was, well, you can't trust them. They're emotional. What if it's that time of the month? Right? I'm not going to put a woman in charge. She's going to blow everything up. I'm sorry, I'm just going to tell it like it is, right? That is something that we have to combat. And that's something that we have to deal with. So we have to keep that in mind, that when we are showing emotion, unfortunately, there are those who are just going to write off our emotion as, oh, well, she's just hysterical. Right? I mean, the word hysterical rooted in hysteria, which has to do with our darn, reproductive system. So, keep that in mind as you are speaking and as you are showing that emotion. Is it going to be valuable for you? Or might you be better reining that in? And sometimes, we all know our emotions get the better of us. Okay, so now we've laid out what we're going to do. We've decided what we're going to wear. We've practiced breathing. We've practiced. That's what we're going to start. Practice. Do it in the car, do it in the shower. As Judy was saying, do it when you're doing your dishes, right? You're going to practice. You're going to go through it over and over again. Time yourself. Get out your timer. Get out your speech. Time yourself. Figure out where you tend to go off on a tangent. Edit that down. But figure out your key milestones. I should be at this point by halfway through. I should be at this point by a quarter of the way through. And then that way, if you know, okay, I'm off by a little bit, then you can either speed up or slow down or cut things out to fit within your allotted time. The worst thing is when you're in the speech and you're getting ready to get to your great part and you see that person get up and start moving toward you, like your time's done, I gotta get the hook and get you off the stage, right? So you have to make sure that you have practice. You've edited out all the stuff that maybe isn't that important, and you build in pauses. Build in chances for laughter. You have a great joke in there, you know people are gonna laugh. Awesome. You have a good chance to catch your breath and to think about, where do I go next? You leave in those places for you to pause, for you to collect your thoughts, to appreciate this awesome thing that you're doing. Standing up in front of people, pat yourself on the back. This is awesome, this is going great. And we don't want to ever just sit and read from the slide. Again, right? Our audience is sitting there going, you might as well have given me a handout. This is the most boring thing ever. Whether you're a teacher in a classroom or presenting at a workshop, don't ever just read from that. And if you can, become familiar with the space and the stage. Know where you're going to walk in and where you're going to walk out. Know how much space you have to work within. Are you going to stand behind your podium the whole time? Or are you going to be able to move around? I like to move around because I feel like some of that nervous energy can be utilized. However, when you are really moving and you're pacing, it really makes people nervous, right? Does it make you a little nervous? If I'm moving around a lot, you're worried I'm going to trip or I'm going to fall or something bad's going to happen. So we want to make sure that you're familiar and you know how much you can move around.